Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Nama Pranavarthaya Shuddha Jnanaikamurtaye Nirmalaya Prashantaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Disrespecting an atithi has always considered very negatively in our culture. You never know what form Bhagavan might appear on your doorstep. That is the normal explanation saying why. And there are many stories we tell you that Bhagavan actually came in the form of an old beggar, in some other form, etc. But really the understanding is, if Bhagavan is everything, then anybody who comes to you is Bhagavan. Now doesn't come to you is also Bhagavan. So even those who say that moksha is Bhagavat Seva, even those people need to respect Bhagavan. He may come in the form of somebody begging for something. He may come in the form of somebody asking for some help. He may come in the form of somebody extending friendship. I remember when we were building this Ashwavidyalaya, we have a lot of these UPVC doors and windows. Not doors, but more windows. And we were looking for a supplier for these. And on this Mettupalayam road, there was one shop which was selling one brand here. So we've been exploring various suppliers. So we also went to that shop. I, of course, was my sannyasi dress. And they thought we had come to beg for something. So they shooed us out. Actually, from the shop, they shooed us out. No, we'd have nothing, whatever. I don't know if they actually realized we are customers, come to buy fairly large quantities of their product. But this is what happens. You look at somebody and you make a assessment, rightly or wrongly. If that atithi also happens to be a Brahmana, again I emphasize Brahmana not because the person is born to Brahmana parents, but because the person has made an effort to understand Brahman. That kind of Brahmana. There's a lot of respect for anybody who studies Veda. And the respect stems from a number of reasons. And one of them is that anybody who is a Brahmana by that definition can actually bless you by his or her presence. On the other hand, if one disrespects such a person, it could be disastrous. They don't have to physically say anything or do anything. That is why in this Upanishad, they are referred to as Vaishvanaraha, fire. They leave a trail, black trail of destruction. That's what fire does now. Where they go, they burn everything. It's only an allegory. It is not that the Brahmana will light a match and light a fire to your house. But what will happen, according to our Shastra, is the Yajamana who disrespects an Atithi, his or her punya that he has earned will be destroyed. Why? This is also a karma. How you respond to an Atithi is also karma. If one responds as prescribed, it's a positive karma and actually enhances the punya. But if one were to disrespect the Atithi Brahmana, then it creates a dosha, a negative karma. A negative karma, and the effect of the negative karma is to destroy much of the punya one has earned. Whether one has earned the punya simply because one says that is the right thing to do, or one earns the punya because he or she thinks the best thing to do is to earn punya to go to other lokas, Svargaloka ityadi, or the punya is done for Atma Shuddhi, in preparation for that knowledge. All of them could get destroyed. And destroyed for whom? The Yajamana. Atithi means what? Somebody who comes to the home. Atithi really comes to the home with no prior appointment. And that person is disrespected. Very common these days. Because everybody expects everybody else who comes to say, please call and confirm what time you're coming, when you're coming, if you're coming at all. Just don't land up suddenly. We may not be ready. Very common. In fact, in a place like the US, they won't even entertain you, even if you're a good friend. In India, we still might reluctantly engage with them, but that will not happen in many other countries of the world. And for whom will this dosha, called pratyavaya dosha, the dosha gained by not doing something that needs to be done, omission. For that person who creates for himself or herself this pratyavaya dosha by disrespecting the atithi, his or her punya karmas, the phala will get wasted. And this person will do this because he is a alpamedasaha, unthinking person. He is probably Nobody has told him this is what the Shastra says, or he himself has not recognized it, or if he studies the Shastra, he is ignoring it. An alpa medasaha, whose thinking is very limited. And because of limited thinking, because of his non-shraddha in the Shastra, he creates for himself this dosha called pratyavaya dosha. So, he'd already, the ministers or whoever it is had already warned Yamadharmaraja, Vaishvanara pravishatyadithi brahmano gruhan tasaitam shantim kurvanti hara vaivasvatodakam. Please go get some water. You have neglected, not because you deliberately did that, but you've neglected. A Atithi Brahmana who's been here for 3 days without eating. He like Vaishvanara, he like fire. It's going to burn everything. And then our Acharya expands on it. He says, Atithi pravishati bhratitaha san brahmanaha grihan dahan iva. As though the whole house will burn. It's not a literal meaning. But it will destroy punyaphala. What type of punyaphala? That the Upanishad expands on in the next verse. We'll read this. Asha pratikshe sangatagam sundratam cha
आशा
आशा
प्रतीक्षे
प्रतीक्षे
संगतं सुहृदां
Ishapurte putra pashu gunsha sarvan
इष्टापूर्ते
पुत्रपशूंश्च
सर्वान्
सर्वान्
Etad bringte purushasya
एतद्वृङ्क्ते
तद्वृङ्क्ते पुरुषस्य
Yanashnan vasati brahmano grihe.
यस्यानं वसति
ब्राह्मणो गृहे
Yasya alpamedhasya grihe brahmanaha anashnan vasati san, in whose house a person who's either not well versed in the what the Shastra says or ignores what the Shastra says, such an alpamedasaha, in whose house a Brahmana Atithi comes and stays anashnan, without eating. Tasya purushasya asha pratikshe sangatagum sunrutan ishtapurte cha sarvan putra pashuncha. All of these, we will look at what each of these mean. These are all acts which have gained punya phala for this Yajamana. Asha pratikshe sangatagum sunrutancha ishtapurte putra pashuncha. Putra pashun is the phala. All of them, what will happen to them? Etat sarvam bringte. They will be destroyed. Because that person has ignored the Atithi Brahmana and allowed that Brahmana to be without food for 3 days, 7 days. That's why in our culture, we always feed another being before eating. Either a human being, if not a human being, some other being. Asha cha pratiksha cha asha pratikshe. Ishtam cha purtam cha ishta purte. Putran cha pashun cha alpa medha yasya saha vringte. Vrinj dhatu. to be destroyed. What is Asha and Pratiksha? They're very similar sounding words with roughly similar meanings. Asha literally translated into English would be closest to be hope. Those of you who know other Indian languages, we use it very commonly. Asha, I hope. And Pratiksha is probably the closest expectation. And expectation will always be from somebody or some situation. That somebody will do something is my expectation. And the two together, Asha and Pratiksha, both will get destroyed. Asha will get destroyed, Pratiksha also will get destroyed. Ishta Purte. Ishta is when somebody does karma as dictated by, as said in the Vedas, it has a phalan, no? That phalan will be lost. And what is Purti? Purti is when outreach karma. Reach out to people, reach out to other beings, help other beings, all that is punya karma. All those phala, which will also produce positive phala, are also likely to get affected. Asha Pratiksha as also Ishtapurte. Not only these, you earn a lot of punya karma by other activities also. Sangatagam. Again, satsanga is considered one of the best things to happen to anybody. We will see in Vivek Chudamani how it lists. Manushya Janma itself is a very great thing. And in that, satsanga and mumukshutvam become very critical if you want to gain moksha. Satsanga becomes important. Our minds are very highly pliable. And the sangha we keep will create a swing either this way or this way. I don't know if you've seen, if there is an accident, the local residents get together, happens to be, let's say, in a local residence, and catch hold of the driver, pull him out and beat him up. Somehow everybody joins in. Everybody wants to give him a couple of slaps. It's a sangha you have. You are among people who are inclined to negative things, one gets influence. If you are in the company of people who are positively inclined, one is likely to be influenced. That positive company, satsanga, produces good, positive punyapala. That will also get destroyed. Sunrutancha. Sangatahum will get destroyed. Sunrutancha. When we speak Vachika karma, when we say positive things, when we utter good things, all levels, when you think good things, when you speak good things, and when you do good things, positive things, all produce positive results. Here, this verse says even the punya you earn by saying good things, positive things, nice things, will also be destroyed. Like fire, no? Fire destroys everything. It doesn't say, oh, this is good furniture, this is, I should not burn this. It burns everything. This kind of dosha will also destroy everything. And putra pashuncha sarvan. The results of good punya karma in this janma is wealth, is putra, all that also will get destroyed. What you think positively, the result of that also gets destroyed. What you speak positively, that result also gets destroyed, the punya karma. Etat sarvam vringte. Because that person who does this is an alpamedasaha. And he allows the atithi brahmana in this case, yasya anashnan vasati brahmano grihe. Brahmana who comes to somebody's house, he is ill-treated. So the previous verse, Yamadharmaraja, when he came back, was advised, hurry, go and get some water to do pada prakshadanam. Give the atithi water to drink, give the atithi water to do snanam, give him an asana. Upashantim kuru. So the ministers continue to advise Yamadharmaraja, painting a very bleak picture, saying you have ignored this Brahmana who has refused to eat or drink anything and stayed under your roof for 3 days, could have the result of very bad destruction for you. Which for all of us, they're all part of the same thing. See what Acharya says in the Bashyam. Asha pratikshe
Pratishe
anirjnata prapta ishtartha prarthana asha.
Anyata
Pratishyeta prarthana asha.
Something that can be gained. Leave that there. We will continue. Something that can be gained. Something which is desirable that can be gained. It is prapya ishtartha. A hope. That is what you want. Anirjnata. It's a general hope. You don't have the very clear specifics on that. I don't know. If you say, for example, I want to be healthy, it's a very general hope. So it is Asha pratikshe. So Asha is what? Anirjnata prapya ishtartha prarthana. It's a prarthana. It's a hope. It's a desire that something nice should happen. Something nice should happen to me, to my family, to my society. That is what Asha is. So Shankaracharya says, Anirjnata prapya ishtartha prarthana asha. all those hopes will be destroyed. I was hoping something very nice to happen. It will not happen. And what is pratiksha? Pratiksha also is something that is going to happen in the future. Therefore, it's also some kind of a desire, prarthana only. But here, Acharya says, nirjnata prapyartha pratikshanam
Nirjnata
Prapyartha
pratikshanam
pratiksha.
pratiksha.
Pratiksha is a more specific thing that one wants. Pratiksha is not a general hope, but an expectation of something very specific to happen, to be done by somebody, to happen in the situation that you're in, but very specific. May I lose 10 kilos in the next 2 months? Very specific expectation. So, nirjnata prapyartha pratikshanam, it is known, it is very specific. Nirjnata. There it was anirjnata prarthana. It is nirjnata prarthana. You can also look up the dictionary meaning of these two words, hope and expectation, very close to these two words. So the two together is called asha pratikshe. Te asha pratikshe.
Te Asha Pratikshe.
Okay. If this is asha pratikshe and this is what is going to not happen, because are you hoping for something to happen, something desirable, you're expecting something perhaps in the very near future, that also may not happen. What else did he say? Sangatam.
Sangatam.
Tat sanyogajam phalam.
Tat
Satyogajam
phalam.
Yogajam. Born of sanyoga. Born of company of good people. That kind of phalam will also not be available to such a person. Such an alpamedasaha person. Sangatam. What is Sangatam? Tat Sanga Yogajam Phalam. That phalam is also not going to be available. We make a lot of effort many times consciously to produce certain end result for us. Not going to happen. Then what is Sunritam? Sunritancha.
Sunrutancha
Sunritahi Priyavak.
Vak
Tannimittam cha.
Tannimittancha
Sunrita is Priyavak. Something beautiful to say, something very nice, something which is beneficial. That vak, which brings certain sense of pleasure to the listener, and therefore has certain phala for the speaker, even that will not be available. Sunrutancha. Priyavak tasmincha, tannimittancha. The what is coming out of that pleasant speech is also not available. Ishtapurte.
Ishtam
Ishtam yagajam.
Yagam
Purtam aramadi kriyajam phalam.
Urtam Aramadikryajam
Two
Phalam.
other words here, Ishta and Purti. We in fact come across these words quite often in the Shastra. Ishta is what is to be done as given by the Shastra. So you have to do this prayer, this yajna, this karya. this karma, Ishtapurte, Ishtam Yagajam, born of Yajna. The Shastra tells us to do something, and the result of that something is Punyapala. That Punyapala is also included in the list of things that will not happen. It sounds very dangerous to me. Even if you follow Shastra, and Shastra tells you to do something, I follow whatever Shastra says, but because I ignored an Atithi Brahmana especially, I am not going to get the phala of that act. What is Purtam then? Purtam Aramadi Kriyajam Phalam. Aram here means that act that you create to help others, particularly people in the society. In those days, kings used to make lakes. Places like Bangalore have thousands of lakes. Some are natural lakes, some are created by the kings. Tadagam, called Tadagam. Because that water is such a necessary thing for life. And the kings create the lake so as not to waste the water. What is happening today is the water getting contaminated and flows out into the sea. Nothing is maintained. In fact, what generally in a place like Bangalore, where there are so many lakes, most of them have been shut out. A lake has three components. There is the catchment area. When the rain comes, that's where the first point of the lake is. Then the lake itself, which fills up after the catchment is there. And then there's an overflow area. But pressure of growing population. I keep taking Bangalore as an example because it happened right in front of my eyes. So what happens? More people drift into Bangalore because it becomes an economic hub. Silicon Valley of India. So what happened? Builders, along with the officials, decided right now this lake is dry. Lake bed is dry. It is not rainy season. These are not supposed to be built on, but they build on them. They build on the catchment area, they build in the lake itself, lake bed itself, and they build on the overflow area also. So what happens when it rains, when water comes naturally? There's no way to store it. One of the reasons why Chennai gets flooded every few years is because of this. There are no lakes left. So these urban centers where lakes were created by the kings, the lakes are disappearing. But creating a lake itself, a lake, a well, any water storage is considered very positive. It's considered great punya karma. Similarly, shelters. Pilgrims are walking. Every now and then you have a chol tree where the pilgrims can take a break, cook their food, take some rest, and continue to walk. Fortunately, unfortunately, this is happening even today. If you see in season, people walking to Payani and places like that, Skanda Shashti time, hundreds of them, thousands of them in fact, walk for, why go that far? Marudamala here in Coimbatore. Roads are chock-a-block. You can't go out those days. And people provide It's all temporary. They put a tent and they provide food and they provide water. And if they're carrying kavadi, they prepare something for the kavadi cannot be kept down on the floor. So they provide something to keep the kavadi in. Considered extremely good things to do. These are all purta karma. Again, have very good phala. Right? There's a footnote here in my text which says purta karma ke vapi kupa tadagadi devata yatanani cha anna pradana aramaha purtim ityabhidhiyate. So you create the stories, feed people. Annadanam you do. You remember our whole story starts with Vajashavasaha. And the meaning of the very word Vajashavasaha is one who has gained fame by doing Annadanam. Vajas is Annam. And what is Ishta? He says, Agnihotram tapaha satyam vedanam cha anupalanam. Atityam Atityam Vaishvadevam cha ishtam ityabhidhiyate. So you follow what karma that the Shastra tells you to do, all the yajna that it tells you to do, including, it says, interestingly, Atityam. How to treat a atithi. One who follows Agnihotram tapaha satyam vedanam cha anupalanam. But these all produce wonderful phala which the Yajamana, the Alpamedasaha will lose. What else does he lose? Ishta purte ishtam yajagam yagajam purtam aramadikriyajam phalam. Okay. Putra pashunsha.
Putra Pashuncha.
The result of these things is what? Putra pashunsha, wealth, putra, etc. Putra pashunsha,
Putra
Pashuncha,
Pashuncha.
putram cha pashunscha.
Putra.
So all the wealth that one gains, all the comforts one gains, including comfort of traha, they are also liable to get destroyed. I don't know in what way it will destroy. What happened? Either the person will not have any putra. Those days, you have a big family. It was considered very good. People who had a large family, 10, 12 children, were looked up to. Now, of course, we do hum do hamare do, going the China way. That's the need of the circumstances today. But putra is considered, even Nachiketa, I remember, he thought he was his father's possession. That will also get destroyed. What does a destroy mean? Nachiketa is a Bahunam Prathamaha. Aham Prathamaha. They will not be Prathamaha. They will not be Madhyamaha. They will probably go bad. And destroyed means this might happen. Putranscha Pashunscha. All of these things, all of these things, Sarvan etat. Sarvan etat.
Sarvan
Sarvam yathoktam. Bring te. Avarjayati. Vinashayati ityetat. All of these, etat sarvan. Remember these words he takes from the text itself and then he explains them. Our Acharya. Sarvan etat. All of these, sarve, sarvam, yathoktam, whatever has been described earlier, which includes Asha Pratiksham, Sangata, Sunrata, Ishtapurti, Putra Prashun, all of them will be destroyed. See? Sarvam Yathoktam, whatever has been told, Vringte. What is the meaning of Vringte? He said, Avarjayati, Varjayati, Vinashayati, Ityetat. That is the meaning. That Vringte, all of these will be destroyed. For whom? For the one who disrespects the Atiti Brahmana. I mean, look at these ministers or whoever is telling our Yamadharma Raja, he is putting a scare into him. Whatever good things you have done, all will go waste. So please, Udakam Hara, go get water. Because for the person who ignores the Atithi, all this will happen. That fellow is Alpamedasaha. He is an unthinking person. So he says, Purushasya
Purushasya
Alpamedasaha
Alpamedasah
Alpaprajnasya
Alpaprajnasya
Yasya
Yasya
Anashnan
Anashnana
mean Abhunjanaha.
Abhunjanaha
Bhunja is to eat. Abhunjanaha, one who is not eaten. Brahmanaha
Brahmanaha
Grihe Vasati
Grihe vasati
Tasmat
Tasmat
Anupekshaniyaha
Anupekshaniyaha
Sarvavasthasvapi
Sarvavasthasvapi
Atitihi Ityarthaha.
Adityaha.
The last line is Acharya his own. Till then, he has been taking lines, words from the mantra and expanding on them. Okay. Purushasya Alpameda Saha Purushasya. Alpameda Saha means what? Alpa Prajnasya. One whose capacity to think and understand is limited. In whose house Yasya Grihe Anashnan, meaning Abhunjanaha, Brahmanaha Vasati. In whose house an Atiti Brahmana who's come and who hasn't eaten. That is why you call Brahmana and give them Bhiksha. Bhavati Bhiksham Dehi. All that will be familiar to everybody. The fellow comes, a Brahmana comes, asks for Bhiksha. Actually, there, remember all the time, the Brahmana is not because he's born in a Brahmana Kula. Brahmana because he is either a brahmachari or somebody who is studying Veda. Therefore, under all circumstances, under all conditions, please take care of Atithi. Tasmat Anupekshaniyaha Sarvavasthasvapi. Even under any condition, Sarva Avasthasvapi. So, this much is clear that Nachiketa is waiting there 3 days, he is not eaten. Yamadharmaraja comes and these people in panic catch hold of Dharmaraja and say, hey, quick, go get some water. If you don't do, you are getting into a pratyavaya dosha. And this is what will happen if you allow this to happen. So what does Yamadharmaraja do? The text doesn't connect it. But Acharya helps us by connecting this verse with the next verse and says, Eva Mukto Mrittyuruvacha Nachiketasam
Nachiketasam
samupagamya
Samugamya
puja purassaram.
Puja
Purasam
When the ministers have advised Yamadharmaraja in this manner, please take care of the Atithi, otherwise you will be liable to Pratyavaya dosha. The Yajamana, in the form of Yamadharmaraja, responds to it. And he approaches Nachiketa. Mrityuhu vacha. He says, after approaching Nachiketasam samupagamya, going to Nachiketa and talking to him. How? Puja purastaram. That literally would mean preceded by doing puja to him. And then he says, Uvacha. But here in this context probably mean approached with some reverence. That I have an Atithi Brahmana waiting here, and that Atithi Brahmana, he approaches with certain reverence and tells him. What does he tell him? Tisro ratrihi
Ratrihi
yadavatsir grihe me
Yadavatsir Grihe Me
anashnan brahman
Anashnan Brahman
atitir namasyah
Atitir Namasyaha
namaste astu brahman
Namaste Astu Brahman
swasati mestu
Swasti Mestu
swasti mestu
Swasti Mestu
tasmat prati
Tasmat Prati
teen varan vrinishva.
Varan Vrinishva.
The word here prati, tasmat prati. We'll more detail we'll look at that. Tisro ratrihi yat avatsihi me grihe, mama grihe. You have been under my roof for 3 days and 3 nights. Tisro ratrihi. You've lived here, you've been here. Mama grihe anashnan, without eating. Whereas as a Atithi Brahmana, you should have been welcomed, feet washed, given food, everything should have been done. Hey Brahman, Atitir Namasyah. Namasyah means one who is worthy of worship, worthy of being prayed to. Pujaniyaha. Hey Pujaniya Brahman, you have been here 3 days without eating in my house. To you, my namaskara. Namaste astu. You come across this phrase very often. Namaste astu Bhagavan. Hey Bhagavan, namaste he tu. Namaste astu Bhagavan Vishveshwaraya, etc., etc. Namaste astu. Hey Brahman, swasti me astu. He is already concerned about himself. Me swasti astu. May I be good, may I be healthy, may I be swasti me astu. Tasmat prati, we'll see why he's saying tasmat swasti me astu also. Tasmat prati, therefore, in the context of that, Trin Varan Vanishwa. I give you 3. He's trying to reduce the impact of the Pratyavaya dosha. I give you 3 boons. He had the capacity to give boons. He is Devata. So if you reread it, Brahman te namaha astu. My namaskarams unto you, hey Brahman. Me swasti astu. With your grace, may I remain good, well, healthy. Hey Brahman, namasya hatitihi sanna. You are worthy of worship. Being worthy of worship, yat me grihe, here me is mama. Me grihe anashnan tisro ratrihi avatsihi. Because you have stayed without eating food for 3 nights in my house, avatsihi tasmat prati tisro ratrihi. 3 nights you have stayed, tasmat prati. Against those 3 nights, Treen varan vrinishva. Please ask for 3 boons. In our Puranic stories, very often you find that these devatas, rishis, when you pray to them, when you do tapas, whether you are considered a Satpurusha or a Dushta Purusha, that prayer, that tapas is honored. That's why even when somebody prays to Ishvara and is not doing it for a good purpose, for the purpose of the society or for purpose of the larger good, even if he or she is doing it for his own or her own good, even that is respected. What is respected is the effort and the Shraddha. Therefore, whether you are a Ravana or a Raktabija, when you pray for something and your intensity is unquestioned, then the prayer is answered. In the stories, what will happen is the Devata will appear in front of the person praying for it and say, I'm pleased with you. Please ask what you want. This asking for boon is a double-edged sword. We will talk more about it tomorrow. But asking for a boon or even asking for a prayer when you do your daily prayers can be a double-edged sword if one doesn't understand what one is asking. But most of the time, when people put in that kind of effort and show the Shraddha, the Devata they pray to will offer them that boon. I also mentioned they also, if they get angry, especially our rishis, will curse them. And many times you find that in our Puranic stories, they curse them first and then they say, oh, please, 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 excuse me, I did it without knowing or whatever. They'll say, okay, but I can't take the whole curse back, but I will modify it slightly. You find this many times in the stories, But this is part of our culture. Both boons and curses are. Is it running out of time? We'll just read the Bashyam and then we'll continue tomorrow. Tisro ratrihi yad yasmat
यद् यस्मात्
avatsihi
आवतीः
ushitavanasi
उषितवानसि
grihe me
गृहे मे
mama
मम
anashnan he Brahman
Anashnan he Brahman.
Anashnan he Brahman Atitihi.
Atitihi.
Atitihi san Namasyah.
Namasyah.
Namaskarar Harsha.
Namaskara.
Worthy of Namaskara. Tasmad Namahate.
Tasmat Namahate.
Yate Tubhyam. You know, Acharya
Tubhyam.
explained this, which are very simple, but in our, when you do a Shabda, there are alternate forms. May appears in 3 different places in the Asmat Shabda. So you should know which one applies here. Acharya actually applies it here. Te tubhyam astu.
Tubhyamastu.
He Brahman.
Brahman.
Asti Bhadram Mestu.
Vadramestu.
He said, Bhadram, may everything be auspicious for me. Tasmad
Tasmat.
Bhavataha Anashanena
Bhavataha Anashanena.
Griha Vasa Nimittat
Madhyavasa Nimitta.
Doshat
Doshat.
Praptyushpasha Vashamena. Sorry. Tat Prapta
Tat Prapta.
Upashamena.
Upashamena.
To reduce this impact of that. Upashamena. Yadyapi
Yadyapi.
Bhavata Anugrahena
Anugrahena.
Sarvam Mama Swasti Syat
Sarvam mama swasti syat.
Tathapi
Tadapi.
Svadadik Samprasadanartham. Break it down. Tathatu Adhika Samprasadanartham. Adhika Samprasadanartham. Greater to please further, more. Anashanena Ushitam
Ushitam.
Ekaikam Ratrim Prati
Ekam ratrim prati.
Teen Varan Vrineshva
Varan Vrineshva.
Vipretartha
Abhipretartha.
Visheshan
Visheshan.
Sayasva Mattaha
Pratyasvamattah.
Om Purnamada Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Yo Namaha Harihi Om